Well, hello, Upington, and welcome to another community hall meeting. I am John Kerricker. It's great to be along with you today, and we are going to be telling you about Evotel and the fibre rollout to your neighborhood. I've got the mask on, and my guest, Bradley Beck, has also got his mask on. Bradley, we are socially distanced here, so do you think it's safe to take the mask off?
I think so.
Yeah, you can see my big beard, which I've been working on. It's still a lockdown beard. And don't confuse me with Jason Stratham or Bruce Willis. It's just the style that they've copied from me. It's okay. One day you'll learn.
I'll get there.
Yeah,
I'll get there one day.
So welcome to it. Very interactive. The whole point with this is for you to interact with Bradley, ask those difficult questions, ask those things that you want to know about the fibre rollout to your neighborhood. And lots to talk about. We're going to explain to you what fibre is. We're going to explain to you the speeds. We're going to explain the technicalities, how that fibre is going to get to your house. All of that coming up in the next half hour or so. But it's up to you. Please ask questions, and this is the most important thing. In the comments on Facebook and on Twitter, please leave your comments down below, because I'm going to ask some questions, but you need to ask those questions as well. So in the comments below, we've got the elves. The social media elves are keeping an eye on that, and they're going to relay the questions to us. And I'm going to ask Bradley and put him on the hot seat and make sure that he asks those very burning questions that you might have in the comments on Facebook and on YouTube as well. And do us a favor, please, as well. If you're on a community group, if you know other people in Upington that might be interested in the fibre rollout, do share this information with them. It's great to know, and maybe they can get involved in the conversation as well. What's lovely about this video is we might be live and we can answer your questions live now, but it will remain on the internet forever, which is always a worry, isn't it?
It is, but it's a good thing as well.
Everything stays on the internet. So this will remain on Facebook, it will remain on YouTube, so you can always go back and check some of the facts as well. But comments below, please share it, leave the comments below, and we'll get into those questions as well. All right, so the man next to me is Bradley Becker, Business Development Manager at Evotel. Thanks very much for joining us, Bradley.
No, thanks for having me, John. Super excited. I think, these virtual town halls are happening quite frequently, which is exciting. It just means Evotel is rolling out our amazing, fibre to the home network to a lot more places. And we're excited to be rolling out in Upington in the next few weeks.
I was thinking about it. Evotel's been doing these community halls since just over a year now. We've been doing these, and it's amazing to think how everybody else is doing it now as well. Everybody's like, "Ooh, we got to get involved." These guys have been doing it forever. But let's get into the nitty gritty. First of all, we're talking about Evotel. People have seen the pictures. Maybe they're following on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
What is Evotel?
John, Evotel is a fibre to the home provider. We've been in existence since 2015, so we've been around for quite some time. And essentially, we are a network operator that delivers, a stable and uncompromised fibre network to all homes in the areas that we roll out to. The beauty of a fibre network is we're able to deliver speeds from 5 megabits per second up to 1 gigabits per second. So essentially, we're bringing the best, latest technology to the suburb of Upington.
Okay, we're going to go into what fibre is a little bit later on. It's very complicated and how that compares to the other options that are available in Upington. But first of all, you use something called an open source,
open access.
Open access. What is that?
So essentially, open access network is, we've got numerous amounts of internet service providers on our network. Currently, we're sitting at around 23 plus ISPs on our network. And the beauty of this is this base of internet service providers just grows month on month. An open access network naturally creates a very competitive environment on our network, because it means that these service providers are fighting for your business. They're fighting to give you the best customer service, and if they don't, you've got the option to be able to switch to any other service provider. Obviously, there are T's and C's, so always be careful and just make sure that you do read all your internet service providers' T's and C's, but you have the option and the flexibility to change. And again, that benefits the end user because there's competitive pricing. You've got packages ranging from 469 Rand for an uncapped fibre service. And that's all created by this open access network. And the beauty of it is, we onboard all local internet service providers as well. So we'll definitely be on the lookout for some cool ISPs to onboard in Upington. And this just gives customers the freedom of choice to choose the right package, the right company to go with to look after you from a data point of view.
Just staying on that screen. So let's say I have been a subscriber to one of those for a while on some old technology. I can remain with them. I don't have to change and go through that whole process again.
No, definitely. We would always advise that you do contact your service provider just to ask those type of questions. It's always good to do your research before committing to something. But a lot of these service providers are more than willing to switch you to fibre as long as they retain you as a customer. And obviously it makes it easier for them to do so because you already got an account with them. But I would always advise just to give them a call, find out what types of services they can provide you. Are they able to switch you from LTE or ADSL to fibre? And in most cases they are.
Okay, now we've been talking a lot about fibre. I'm just putting this on to get my notifications here. We've been talking about a lot of fibre. It's new. You say it's really, really fast. What is the benefit of an Evotel fibre installation?
It has been around for quite some time, but over the last few years, some of the big FNOs have expanded to a lot of the cities. But essentially, fibre or fibre optics is the latest form of internet technology. Instead of utilizing your old conventional ADSL copper, it utilizes optics and transmits data from one point to the other utilizing light and at the speed of light. And we all know nothing travels faster than the speed of light. So the beauty of it is the technology that we're deploying in Upington is technology that's going to be around for a very long time, which means there's no need to change it at any given time. The beauty of fibre is it's stable. Copper has the tendency of being very unreliable. It transmits data using electricity, which means it's subject to possibly getting hit by lightning. And as we all know, as well, it's a very sought after commodity when it comes to the stealing of cables. So that's just an added benefit. When you deploy a fibre network, the risk of it being stolen or damaged is very minimal. And again, it's just that stability. So whatever line speed you're paying for, you can be guaranteed that you're going to be getting it. And you're not able to provide that type of guarantee on a lot of other technology. There's some very cool things that we can do with this fibre network, not just providing connectivity, but providing connectivity to schools and charities, and then also utilizing this network to essentially build a smart home, providing camera nodes and Wi-Fi hotspots and smart metering. There's so many things that you can do with this connectivity, but you need the right connectivity, and that's what fibre is.
Okay, we're going to get into the schools and those complicated things later on. The one thing you did mention with the speeds, just to explain, what 5 megs to, what did you say, 1 gigabits per second.
Correct.
What can you do with those kind of speeds, and how does that change the way I use the internet?
As we all know, our environment has changed quite substantially. So the need for high-speed connectivity is even greater than it used to be a couple of years ago. Obviously, the 5 megabits is your entry-level type of fiber product, but it is more than efficient for you to download things, to stream certain platforms. Obviously, there will be 1 or 2 buffering situations, but you can do so much more with that 5 meg compared to what you could do with your ADSL. And then obviously up to your 1 gigabits per second. So just put in perspective, you want to download a 26 gig movie, you have a 1 gig line, essentially it would take 26 seconds to download it. So that's just to give you perspective, but there's so much that you can do, from hosting meetings at home, your children, doing online classes, and also just keeping the kids busy when you are working. The fact that they can watch Netflix and stream and go on YouTube and play online games, that connectivity is crucial.
The one thing I want to talk about as well is the line shared? I know we might get a little bit technical here. Is it a shared line and the speeds might vary depending on what my next door neighbor does, or will I get a solid line?
From an infrastructure point of view, we do not shape or throttle any lines, which means the line speed that you're paying for, you will receive. Each home gets its own dedicated fibre line, so we provision a fibre strand for every single home. Again, it's up to the ISPs, but all of the ISPs that we have on our network do not throttle or shape either. So you are guaranteed that the line speed you're paying for, you will be receiving. And we're pretty sure that we can guarantee that.
Okay, so that's just the movement in technology. In the old days, you only had a certain pipe size that you could send data down.
Correct.
If everybody's sharing that, you've got to throttle it. Now, send down the internet.
Exactly. It's unlimited, or it's got that unlimited amount of data that you can push through it. And again, it's just up to the ISPs, because at the end of the day, they've got to look after their end users on how they manage the network from their side. But we provide a network that can deliver 1 gigabits per second line at any given time. You don't have to throttle anyone, you don't have to shape anyone either.
Okay, when you say you deliver the network, what do you mean? What does Evotel actually do?
So Evotel is purely the infrastructure provider, and we always utilize the analogy that we are the highway, so we will come and lay the foundation of that highway. And essentially the 23 plus internet service providers that we have on our network would provide that vehicle to be able to travel on that highway, and they would determine the speed that you can travel on that highway. We maintain the network, we invest in deploying the network, and then obviously once the network is live, we also install we do the installation into the end user's home, and then the internet service provider takes over from there.
All right, before we get into the actual rollout, how much is this going to cost me?
So as an end user, there's no cost involved for the deployment of the network. It's obligation free. Obviously, we do conduct certain surveys before we deploy a network like this to ensure that there is that interest and we're not disrupting your neighborhood for nothing. But essentially, there's no cost involved. Everything is at the risk of Evotel, and you only start paying once you take up the service and your service is live. That's when the internet service provider will start billing you. Evotel will never bill you. We don't service you as an end user. The ISPs do. But there's no cost, and you can choose to take up the service as soon as it goes live, which we encourage you to do so that you're first on the list to get installed and utilizing the service. But it's also for future purposes as well. You don't have to take the service up now. You can do your research, and when you're ready, you can take it up, and that's only when you incur the cost.
Okay, it all sounds great. You've told me, we'll talk about the homeschooling and all those other advantages. The fiber's coming to Upington. How is it going to be installed? Tell me about this highway that you're installing.
So we obviously use various methods of deployment, but specifically in Upington, we will be going the conventional trenching route, meaning we will be trenching alongside both sidewalks. We'll be molding under driveways where we need to, as we don't want to necessarily open your driveway and inconvenience you from coming in and out. So we try and do that as much as possible. We'll mold underneath roads as well to connect certain parts of the suburb. But we basically open up roughly around a 300 millimeter to 450 deep trench along sidewalks. We lay our ducts and we float the fiber through there. And we basically provision a fiber for every single home, and we terminate that on a wall box on your boundary wall. Okay,
lots to unpack there, but we've got the slide in front of us here. This is the timeline, I imagine.
Correct.
We're on, step 2 now?
Correct.
Just explain to us what the rollout looks like.
So essentially, step 1 is the survey that I spoke about. We've currently got some friendly agents in Upington currently busy doing an expression of interest survey. So if you do see them in the suburb, please go and interact with them. They're there to explain the rollout, to get your contact details, and the reason for these contact details is just to keep you in the loop in terms of how the rollout is going, if we're experiencing any issues, if we've damaged any utilities that might inconvenience you. Although we try and avoid it as much as possible, we need that information so we can notify you and assist you. So that's also in motion. And then obviously we have step 2, which is the virtual town hall. Once we've done the virtual town hall, and we've gotten the approval to go ahead and start the project from the municipality, we will start with barricading. So we get site ready, we make sure it's safe for everyone. We open up what we call pilot holes, and these pilot holes are just to identify where existing services and utilities run so that we can avoid damaging them. We obviously have way leaves at hand, so those way leaves tell us where the infrastructure runs and at what depths, etc. But we do try and take our own precautionary measures to minimize that. We scan roads, etc. So that's all part of step 3. And then once we've done that, the fun starts and we start trenching, and we try and minimize the disruption in your suburb. So if we do cause any issues or any damage, please reach out to us so that we can assist you. Once civil's complete, we do our final CACs and we check everything, and we then engage with the community again to ensure that we have covered all of our bases and we've rectified everything. We've left Upington as beautiful as it was before we started. And then the best part is, the area's live and we start connecting you guys to this high-speed fiber network.
We're at step 2. Step 6 is down the bottom here. What sort of timeline is it from there to I can finally do that super duper internet?
So it's all dependent on the time that we actually break ground for the first time, but a project of this size can take anything between 8 to 16 weeks. it's all dependent on, certain situations that we, experience on site, and, utilities damaged, and etc. Those things do hamper the build, and they do delay the timeline of going live, but roughly anything between 8 to 16 weeks. Obviously, we push to have an area live a lot sooner, and usually we do go live, suburb by suburb. We don't just go live, the whole of Upington. We do build quite strategically to ensure that we can connect as many people as quickly as possible. But that doesn't mean, that's where we stop. We're looking at expanding that Upington build, in the months to come. But anything between 8 to 16 weeks.
Okay. One of the questions coming in saying which neighborhoods will be covered?
So currently we've got municipal permission for 10 of the suburbs in Upington, which we'll be sharing with the community very shortly. It's not something that I can bring up here as yet, because we're still in the negotiation process of identifying which areas we're going to start with first with the municipality. Obviously, we need to build in relationship with the municipality so that they can manage it from their side. But as soon as we get the go-ahead, we will be publicly notifying all residents within Upington with the areas that we're starting in. But there's 10 suburbs so far that we've earmarked, and we're currently doing expression of interest surveys in all 10 of those suburbs.
Okay, so the more people that show interest, the more chance that neighborhood will be of being done first.
No, definitely. So the quicker we're able to complete that expression of interest survey, the quicker we're able to start building. But again, that process has already started, and we'll share that information with the community as soon as it's ready to be available.
Okay, remember, we're chatting to Bradley Becker. He is Business Development Manager here at Evotel. Do leave comments and any questions below, please. If you have any questions on what we've spoken about before, we've got plenty to cover still. Don't worry, we got you. I got you covered. But if you have any questions, do leave it down in the comments below on both Facebook and on YouTube. And please do share it with anybody in the community that you might know that are interested in fibre. Let's talk about the fibre rollout now. This is, I imagine, why you're doing what you're doing. It's all very well. We know we want fibre. It's going to be great. But how is it going to affect my neighborhood? You mentioned trenches. What is it going to look like? You mentioned the depth. Just run through that again, and how you're going to affect my neighborhood for these possible 8 weeks.
So essentially we start, like I mentioned, the project with opening of pilot holes and the barricading. So that will be the first form of civil work that you see. And then once we start trenching, the trenches are roughly around 300 millimeters in width and about 450 millimeters in depth. On our routes just within the suburb, and then our main feeder route is the same width, but it's slightly deeper just because it's our main link. And essentially we'll open up these trenches up to your driveway first. We'll lay ducts in those trenches before we touch the driveway, and then where we can, we'll mow underneath the driveway, which we do try and do more often than actually opening up your driveway. Mm-hmm. If we should have to open up your driveway because there's services running under your driveway, and we don't want to damage your power cable that feeds your home or your water pipe that feeds your home, we will notify you that we will be opening up your driveway, but that's not even for a day. We'll open it up, we'll lay the ducts, we'll backfill it so that you can come in and out. If you need to leave your premises while we're opening up your driveway, we do have driving grids available. The contractors are obligated to have those driving grids so that you can still move in and out of your suburb, of your house, sorry. Mm-hmm. But if you feel that, it is causing an inconvenience and you need assistance, we always encourage the community to engage with us. We have created a WhatsApp group, which we will be inviting everyone to join. That's the platform where if you are experiencing any issues, please notify us so that we can assist you. We don't want this rollout to be an inconvenience to you, and we'll make sure that it isn't. And essentially, once all the civil work is done, we then go back to reinstating. So the contractors, will take before and after photos to ensure that we reinstate your sidewalk and your garden that you've invested money in, back to its original form of glory. And if you're not happy with the reinstatement, again, we encourage you to please interact with us, and get us out to site to come and meet with you so that we can assist you and get it resolved.
Okay, so the theory is that what it looks like now in Upington, it'll look like in 18 weeks' time.
Correct. And if we do not stick to that, the municipality does hold us accountable, and we want the community members to hold us accountable as well until we rectify everything and reinstate it so that you can't even see that fibre was laid there.
Okay, do you go on the one side of the road and then somehow run it to the house across the road? How does that work?
No, so we usually build in what we call blocks, but essentially we pass every single home. So we will trench on both sides of the sidewalk. Some cases you'll only see us on one side, and then a week later you'll see us on the other side. In a lot of cases you'll see us, simultaneously trenching on both sides. And this is just because we can't skip any home. It is a point-to-point network, which means every single home's fiber strand runs back to our POP exchange, and then obviously to all the various data centers. So we have to build past every single home, so we can't skip a home. But it's also for future purposes, for one day when you possibly want to sell your home. Fiber does add value to your property. Nowadays, when people go and look for homes, the first thing they look at is what internet connectivity is available, and obviously fiber is the best of the best, so it's the first thing they look for. So even if you possibly don't take up the service now, we still provision fiber for your home, so that one day you can, or the next person can utilize the service.
I imagine it's one of those things when you're buying a house. It's solar panels, especially in Upington. Solar panels. It was granite tops. I don't know if granite tops are still a thing. And now have you got a fiber line connected?
Yeah, 100%. It just adds that value.
How many fiber lines do you take to a household? If they're complexes, sorry, I haven't been to Upington for a long, long time, so I don't know what it's like. Do you supply one fiber for the whole complex? What's that process?
So essentially, just maybe let's chat about the single dwelling unit, so your freestanding home. So, every freestanding home, we can connect numerous properties. Some homes have cottages and flats, etc. So we would provision enough fiber to be able to service them, and if there isn't, we can always pull another strand of fiber through to that wall box so that we can service the second or third property. And then with complexes, we have a specific MDU or multi-dwelling unit team that would engage with the relevant body corporates, managing agencies to get access to be able to build inside the complex. So if it's a 50 unit complex, we provision fiber for that 50 unit complex, so every unit can get its own fiber strand, but it's all based on whether we get permission to build within the complex. We drop a manhole outside of the complex, and basically when we build into the complex, we build from that manhole. But every single unit is treated the same as a single dwelling unit or freestanding home.
It includes flats as well.
Flats, high-rise buildings, we will build and light up any person that wants to be lit up.
I like it lighting up. I imagine, because they are fiber, they're very thin, aren't they?
Correct.
I imagine this, you see it in the movies, the pew of the information just going out.
No, 100%, and it is. It's as thin as a strand of hair.
Wow.
And it's, again, the best technology out there, and I'm pretty sure it looks very cool when that fiber or when the light is distributing from those fiber strands. I've never seen it, but I'm hopeful that I will see it one day.
Somebody's saying, are you actually coming? They've heard this before and they were left disappointed.
No, we are 100% committed and coming.
Are you sure?
100% sure.
The holes in the ground's coming very, very soon.
Very soon.
Let's talk about complications. Bradley, it's all very well talking about the lovely stuff, and we're going to get into that in a moment. There are water pipes down there, there's electricity down there. The last thing you want in Upington is to have less water than there already is. No, so if you hit a water pipe or you hit electricity, whatever it might be, what happens? What's this process then?
So essentially, with any project like this, we do have relevant contractors on site at all times. They have their own project managers. We have our own project managers and employees that look after anything civil related. So if you are experiencing any issues, we escalate it to these project managers who come out to site and actually meet with you, and they will then assess the situation to see whether it's something that the municipality has to repair. We would then log a call with the municipality and assure that it gets rectified. If it's something like a house feed that we can fix ourselves, which is usually your 25 mil water pipe, we can clamp that. So in cases where we are able to fix the damage, we will. But in cases where we need the municipality to assist, obviously we work hand in hand with the municipality. It is municipal ground. We do make sure that we communicate these damages to them so that we can get them rectified, and we ensure that we keep you guys in the loop in terms of turnaround time of getting those issues resolved.
Okay, so that's part of that process that on that slide we showed a little bit earlier. It's part of that sign off by the municipality. You're working together with them at the same time.
No, 100%. The municipality issues your way leaves in order for you to be able to lay your infrastructure on municipal ground.
Sorry, just on that note, it's not like you're just rocking up and digging holes.
No, not at all.
You've been told this is where you can and can't.
100%. And they identify where certain services run, at what depths, etc. And obviously we follow that. And then we also scan roads and sidewalks to also identify the correct depths. And then obviously another thing is we open those pilot holes just to make, double sure that we are going to miss those utilities. Again, it is a construction project. Things do happen. We do try and avoid it, and we just encourage the community members to reach out to us if they are experiencing issues like that, so that we can get it resolved and assist you where we need to assist you.
Question on this about local labourers as well, and talk to us about the contractors. It's not like you go out and dig the hole. So how do you choose the people that do this infrastructure work?
So essentially, it's one of the requirements with the municipality that we support local SMEs and local business forums, etc. So before a project like this even starts, we do take the time to engage with all the relevant parties. We commit to giving up to 30% of the civil work to local SMEs and contractors and labourers. So that is something that we really are passionate about and we really push from our side. So we usually appoint a primary contractor, whether that primary contractor is from Upington or Joburg, but that contractor is then obligated to make sure that work is allocated to local contractors, local labourers and SMEs, etc.
Okay, let's go back to that slide there. There's a whole lot of other things that it seems like you're doing, and you touched on this earlier. You mentioned the homes and how many you're doing at the moment, but talk to us about the school initiative. What is that?
So the school initiative is something that we're very passionate about, and I'm sure people can understand why. Every single school that we pass, we are committed to providing them with a free fibre connection. Free fibre connection. We've got some cool internet service providers that are part of that initiative, so we would provide the installation to that school free of charge, and then we would have one of the very cool ISPs that we have as part of that initiative provide the school with the free data services. The school doesn't pay a single cent, and it's just one of the ways that we like to give back to the community, and it's crucial. Those are our future leaders, our future entrepreneurs. They need the correct tools and the right platforms to be able to learn and be successful. And I think schooling is going in a different direction. It also enables teachers and principals and administrative staff, to really be able to work efficiently and to interact with their students remotely. And that all boils down to connectivity. So we're very excited to connect as many schools as possible in Upington, and we encourage principals or SGB board members to reach out to us if there is a school that falls within our coverage, so that we can get you guys connected as soon as the area goes live.
Somebody's saying, what happens if let's talk a little bit more about the connecting to the internet.
Okay.
You said the fibre goes to the house. What does that look like? And then how do you, from there, how do you connect to the internet?
So essentially, as I mentioned before, we provision fibre for every home, and we terminate it to the boundary wall. Then when you take up the service, we then schedule your installation. So one of our friendly ladies will phone you and ask you for a convenient time and date to come and run the fibre strand from that wall box on your boundary wall into your home. There's various methods. It's all based on what you want.
You do that.
So Evotel does the actual physical installation. We send a team. They come and actually run the fibre, and there's various ways. Like I said, we can pin it along the wall. We can trench it. There's various options, and we try and give that option to the end user so that they can give us the best suitable location in their home and the method. And then from that installation, we install what we call a ONT device. It looks like a little Wi-Fi router that we install inside of your property, and your internet service provider then provides you with a Wi-Fi router which plugs into that ONT device, and that is what distributes the Wi-Fi throughout the home.
Okay, so that's probably the most complicated step here. Is you said somebody books an appointment to get into my house, right?
Yeah. So essentially, in a nutshell, the customer journey is you sign up for the service on our website or with one of our friendly field agents that will assist you. The order is loaded and processed on our side, on our portal. The ISP gets notified. Obviously, the internet service provider that you've chosen gets notified. They then start the process with you, and we would encourage that you actually contact your service provider to speed that process up. There's certain requirements that they might have, RECA docs and all those type of things. Once they push the order through, Our ladies get the notification that your order is ready to be installed. We pick up the phone and we schedule a date and time with you, and you'll tell us, when is a convenient time for us to come and do the installation. And the installation can sometimes take up to 2-3 hours, and it's complete. And if the ISP has delivered your router, in most cases it's sometimes just a plug and play. You literally just plug the router in and you're off and running.
Okay, so again, do you phone Evotel or do you phone the service providers?
I would encourage to phone the service providers. Again, they have to push the order through to the correct status for us to install. They are billing you as an end user, which means they're liable for that cost. So
let them earn their money.
No, 100%. And we will also escalate it from our side to try and get it over the line as quickly as possible. Our end goal is to get you connected as quickly as possible. That's our motto. So essentially, I would always just encourage you to still make contact with your ISP to kind of put pressure on them so that they can push the order through and we can get you installed.
A couple of questions about the service provider, so maybe they can put that back up on the screen just to give us a few of those service providers that we've got.
Okay.
You mentioned you're currently 23, but you talk to me more about local service providers as well, please.
So just out of experience, some of the other rollouts that we've had, in the likes of Newcastle and in Witbank and Velcom, we've onboarded some of these local wireless providers that had appetite to want to be an internet service provider on a fibre network. Obviously, they have a very good relationship with the community. They're local, so we want to support local. So if there are, local ISPs within Upington that are wanting to onboard as an ISP, we will gladly onboard you guys. Obviously, there's certain requirements and stuff that we will run through with you guys. But again, the beauty of it is, there's no limit to it. We can onboard as many ISP as we want. And that just gives you even more freedom of choice. And it's something that we have continuously grown over the last few months. And like I said, we bring on about 3 to 4 ISPs every single month. So it's grown substantially. And by the time we look again, we're probably going to be sitting on about 40 to 50 ISPs on our network, which is really exciting.
You mentioned it's free to roll out the fibre to the neighbourhood.
Correct.
But can you give us obviously it's up to the service provider, you've been saying that. What are the costs to have a fibre to the home?
So essentially, there's an installation fee, which a lot of the internet service providers will actually waiver for you as a customer. So, if you go onto our website and go view the various packages, which I would always encourage you to do, go do a bit of your homework, go and see the right ISP for yourself, what they offer. A lot of the ISPs on our network offer free installation, which means there would be no installation cost to you. There's no such thing as line rental on a fiber network. You're not having to pay a specific amount for line rental and then your data services. So the amount that the internet service provider quotes you on and bills you on is literally just for your data services. That ranges anything from 469 Rand for a 5 meg uncapped line. All of our packages are uncapped, by the way, unshaped, unthrottled, up to roughly around 1,800 Rand for 1 gigabits per second line. So if you compare those prices with your conventional ADSL and LTE, it's very competitive. And as mentioned, it's all uncapped, so you can go wild. The world is your oyster when you have fiber connectivity.
I wonder who needs a 1 gigabit per second line. I know that I've worked with a 50-50 line, so it's 50 megs up, 50 megs down.
Correct.
1 gig is a whole lot more than that.
No, it is. And again, the beauty of it is, I think we are getting to a point where a lot of the technology, household technology that you're using, you need those high speeds to get the most out of them. If you want to really stream 4K or 8K even, that's coming, you need a specific line speed to get the full, that full experience. There are people, that do have 1 gig lines. I personally would love to have a 1 gig line if I could, if the wife would allow me to. But yeah, it's the beauty of it is you have that choice, and right. You can choose the right package for you and your home. And the beauty of it is you can upgrade and downgrade at any given time. So it's all month to month. A lot of the contracts are month to month with the ISPs. So you can, if you 1 month on a 20 meg and you see the need for 50 meg, at any given time you can just switch to 50 meg and vice versa. You can also downgrade.
Let's go back to the school project. You were mentioning that, but on that same slide you were talking about camera nodes. What are camera nodes?
So essentially, again, it's speaking into building a smart city, and we obviously provision enough fiber to be able to do these type of things. because of the capacity on the fiber network is so much more compared to any other technology, we're able to deploy fiber points for camera nodes, and we can utilize these camera nodes, to be able to provide a free feed to the municipality, to the SAPS, local CPF, security companies, whatever is needed to keep, Upington safe. The beauty of these cameras, that these guys supply, they're AI enabled, which means, they've got all these algorithms and they can pick up on certain things that, this car's not supposed to be in this neighborhood. So we would usually put these, camera points at schools, at substations, at municipal offices, at wherever we need to, and we work very closely with the municipality and the ward councils and the CPF members, etc., to identify possible crime hotspots, and we put these camera points, at those selected points to essentially build a smart city and keep your city safe, utilizing this connectivity.
And that's all part of this free deal.
It's all part of the free deal. No one pays for it. Again, it's all based on the negotiations and the discussions that we have with the relevant municipalities, etc. But the opportunity is there, and I think it will only evolve over the years to come. You'll see a lot more smart city technology being deployed in these areas.
You always think that Upington would be one of the last cities to get that kind of thing. And I love you, Upington. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. But, Cape Town, Durban, Joburg, it's where everything is. Suddenly, Upington can compete with everybody else on the planet because they're getting high-speed, first-class internet.
No, 100%. I think, a lot of the FNOs did start out in the bigger metropolitans. But now we've seen, the expansion into these secondary cities, and it's exciting because, our slogan at Evotel is fibre for everyone, and that's what we live by. We want to connect every single person that we possibly can connect, and we're excited to be bringing fibre to Upington. I was there 3 weeks ago. It's a beautiful city, and I'll be there a lot more. But yeah, we're excited to be actually deploying networks in these secondary cities because it's crucial for the development of our country.
I see some of the elves have posted the link on the YouTube channel, and they've probably done it on the Facebook as well. Somebody wanting to know about the ISPs, which one do you choose? And you've got a website, evotel.co.za/choose-your-package. I think it goes on a little bit longer, but the link is on the YouTube comments. So go have a look there. The elves have put that on. So that's got all the details. You can see who they are, how much it costs, all those kind of things.
No, definitely. And their contact details are on our website as well. But if you had to Google and go onto the ISP's website, you can make contact with them. We do have friendly sales agents that are also more than willing to help you, choose the right package. We won't punt a specific ISP. We're an open access network. All the ISPs we have are amazing, and that's what we will assist you in, choosing the right package for yourself. There are a lot to choose from. So if you are a bit confused or you don't know what the right package is for you, please give us a call, and we'll gladly assist you in choosing that right package and then helping you sign up as well.
The one thing is, you're a Becker, right? So you could do some Afrikaans, can you?
Definitely.
Okay, I'm a Gerike and I can't do Afrikaans. Dis hoekom ons in Engels praat, want ek praat Engels baie goed, maar nie so goeie Afrikaans nie. En ek weet Upington is mos 'n Afrikaanse stad, né? Nee?
Correct.
So sê vir my in Afrikaans as jy kan, wat is Evotel?
Sure. Okay, I'm going to try.
Kan jy dit doen?
Evotel is 'n optiese vesel maatskappy, en ons sit, optiese vesel in die grond, en jy gebruik hierdie optiese vesel om I don't know what internet is in Afrikaans now.
It's not internet nie, is it?
No, there's something else. That was my best.
Yeah. So Afrikaans people, we love you, and I apologize. As a Gerike and a Becker, and we're struggling. It just seems like the internet maybe is English, but we love Afrikaans people. There will be plans made. Have you got call center agents that can do it?
No, definitely. And all the sales agents that we have in Upington currently are all local based, so they're fluent in Afrikaans. So you'll never have an issue with someone not being able to assist you. We'll be able to assist you in as many languages as we possibly can. Unfortunately, just in this environment, we do, present in English, but I promise to polish up on my Afrikaans skills so that, we can maybe do an Afrikaans presentation one day.
One day we'll do the whole show
Definitely.
in Afrikaans. Yeah,
Definitely.
right. We'll hire another presenter. Hein wants to know, and maybe he's pushing you a little bit too hard because you were mentioning the municipality, when exactly are you going to break ground?
Sure. Okay, that is a very tricky question to navigate around, but there are talks that we will be breaking ground in the next week or so.
Okay.
So it's relatively soon. Obviously, you would already see some people moving around the suburb, doing some prep work. You'll see some of our expression of interest survey people in the area as well, meaning, the project has already commenced. In terms of breaking ground, we are hoping to break ground before the end of April.
Okay, again, it's as you say there, we're doing this, sorry Graham, if you can just go back to that slide, it is the virtual town hall we're having now, people are letting know, and you're relying on the municipality gives you a little tick, you've got to follow all the rules.
Correct.
And then you'll hit it with the local guys getting deep down and dirty, as it were.
Definitely, yeah, so we've already done all the groundwork in the background, we're just waiting for the right time to start the project, but the project is 100% starting in the next week or so.
It's nothing like starting to dig in the middle of winter in Upington.
Sure.
Good luck. Bradley, great chatting with you. Thank you very much for highlighting. Give us a website. I think we're going to have the contact details at the bottom. Where's the best place to go to find out all of this information again?
So the best place is to obviously visit our website, which is www.evotel.co.za. Our contact details are there. They're also shared at the screen below. Again, we're more than willing to assist you where we can, and then if you're not comfortable Googling the website or calling, you can drop us a mail at info@evotel.co.za. We're also in the process of getting a cool WhatsApp group where you can, or WhatsApp platform where you can also interact with us on a WhatsApp form of things. So that's just going to give you another platform for you to engage with us. We really want that engagement, so please utilize all the methods possible to engage with us, even if it's a smoke signal or a pigeon or something. We want to engage with the community of Upington.
So forget the Afrikaans, you actually have smoke signal interpreters.
We do. We have everything.
Bradley Beckett, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Don't forget, this will remain on the internet. Questions can still be asked down below. Obviously, you've got to follow them on all the social medias as well. You're on Facebook and YouTube at the moment. Share it with your friends, share it with your neighborhood. If you're on a neighborhood group on a WhatsApp, please share the links so that they can see this information. The comments will remain open forever, and the fairies and the elves that are able to answer all the complicated questions will be sent there, and they will be able to answer your questions as well. But do use those details down the bottom of the screen. Bradley, thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
And we'll catch up with you again. I want to go to Upington. I'm desperatally keen to go to Upington.
We're going to go together. It's
and
beautiful.
When the fiber's there, I'll be able to do all of my work in Upington.
Correct.
I think I can retire in Upington.
I'm sure you could.
Live in the wine farms. Have yourself a great day. Thanks very much for watching, and get commenting and share the information. We'll see you again soon.
Cheers.